And here are the answers to the quiz. Question 1. If you create a new display for an existing view, by default, any values you change will only affect the new display. True or false? The answer is false. By default, any changes you make will affect all displays, which is why you have to be very careful to make sure to select the display you want to affect. Otherwise, you could inadvertently affect displays that you aren't editing. Question 2. You can expose a contextual filter as a form. True or false? The answer is false. A contextual filter is pulled from the environment, but you can't expose a normal filter. Question 3. When is the setting you use in the when the filter value is not present setting to use the node ID of the content being viewed? That question sounds a little convoluted, but if you've watched the videos, you know what we're talking about. The answer is C. Provide default value. Question 4. Ajax refreshing is disabled by default in a new view. True or false? The answer is true. You have to actively turn on Ajax if you want it. And question 5. To add a views filter for the title of content that is referenced by the content that you used in the view, what do you need? And the answer is A, a relationship. Alright, let's look at the solutions to our challenges next. So our first challenge was to make the calendar sortable by ID. So let's make sure we're in our tours view and we're editing the page display. So far, we have this sortable by date, tour type, and guide, and we want to add the ID, which is right here. Also, while we're at it, let's change this title to ID. So we made these sortable before by going to Format and Settings and clicking on the sortable checkbox next to the field. Let's click Apply, and let's also change the label for title. We'll click Apply, and now if we look at our preview, we can sort by ID. So challenge complete, let's roll this back. So I'll go to Settings under Format, I'll uncheck ID and click Apply, and then we'll change our label here back to title and click Apply and save. Okay, challenge 2 is add a second exposed filter to filter by duration with a greater than blank days and a less than blank days. So we need to make sure again that we're on the tours view and we're editing the page display. So we need a new filter here. Let's add it. Let's search for days. Okay, this is the days field. We'll click Apply. Let's expose this filter to visitors. So we need an is greater than, and let's set the default value to 0. Let's click Apply All Displays. And let's set the label to greater than this number of days. So we'll go back to the filter and let's set the label greater than this many days. That sounds even a little better. Apply. And now we need another filter for the less than these number of days. We'll search for days. We'll add it. We'll click Apply. We'll expose this. Let's set the label here, less than this many days. And this time we'll choose is less than and we'll click Apply All Displays. So we have greater than this many days, less than this many days. Let's see if it works. So we want something that's greater than 1 day. Let's click Filter by Tour Type. Okay, so it takes away the 1. And now let's say we want something less than 4 days. Filter by that. Sure enough, here we go. Challenge complete. Let's roll this back. We're just going to remove these 2 filters and save it. Our final challenge was to add a block that displays a tour calendar on staff pages with only the tours that staff member will be leading. So this is similar to what we did with the calendar on the tour type pages, but this time it will be on staff member pages. So make sure that you're on the tours view, and we're going to add a new display for a block. We'll clean this up just like we did for the other block where we remove the days and guide from the fields. And we want to make sure that we're applying this setting to only this block. So we'll remove this, remove that, apply. We'll remove the exposed filter. We want to only affect this display and remove. So now we want a contextual filter like we did with this block, but this time we're associating it with a different field. So let's click Add, and this time let's search for Guide. Okay, we'll add this in. And just like before, we're going to provide a default value because we're not getting the contextual filter value from the URL. We're getting it from our environment. Under Type, we're going to select Content ID from URL. Let's make sure that we're only affecting this display and click Apply. And let's test out the preview. Let's find the ID for a staff member piece of content. So we know Phil is leading some of these. I'm going to hold the cursor over Edit and look down here. So it's node/10. So I'll go back to the view, and for the contextual filter, I'm going to put 10 in, and then update preview. Okay, so it only shows the 2 that Phil Terry is guiding. Let's save this, and let's add a block. So I'm going to go to Structure, Block Layout, and we'll show this in sidebar second. place the block, do tours. We didn't add a better name for our block view, so by default it's called block 2. We'll click place block. And now let's set this block only to display on staff member pages. So under visibility here, we'll select content type and then staff and save block. All right, now let's check out a staff page. So we'll open up Phil Terry in a new tab and we'll scroll down and there we go. Challenge complete. Now let's roll this back. So let's remove the block and let's remove our view display. So what we'll do here is select reorder displays and we'll select remove next to block 2 and apply and save. Okay, once you've completed all these challenges, you get to pick a prize from the little treasure box. There's only one prize in it and it's this.